On August 6th, voters in Lee Summit will be asked whether or not to approve a no-tax increase bond question. The question is related to public safety. Approval would fund 2 new fire stations, a ladder truck, network infrastructure, police body cameras, and in-car video systems. The new fire station would replace Fire Station 4 and 5, which were built in 1976 and 1980.
By replacing stations 4 and 5, it improves conditions not only for our firefighters but also for our citizens. The stations, when they were built, met the needs of the fire department at the time. Things have changed. The fire service has changed. The things we know now have changed, not only for how we respond to calls, but also the hazards to firefighters, not just at the scene, but when we come back.
Both fire stations have reached capacity, but can't expand at their current locations. The size of the stations have led to challenges for firefighters.
Training, day-to-day things. As far as training goes, we don't have a separate training room, so we're training on the kitchen table or in the living room together. You know, there's not a lot of space to work. So if we need to do some things in the bay, we're doing training in the bay with rope rescue or water rescue. There's just not a lot of room to do a lot of things.
When you're talking about a small station, you have no training areas. You don't have separate bunk areas. The office space is shared.
The current stations also lack decontamination areas, which create potential exposure hazards.
So when crews come back, they're coming back with dirty gear, they're coming back with dirty equipment. That equipment is cleaned in the same areas that they're living in.
For the fire department, the health, safety, and well-being of the firefighters is top priority when considering 2 new stations.
I want what's best for our members. And a new station is what's best for the people who work here. You know, it's best for their health. It's best for their well-being. We've just outgrown it, outgrown the station. What worked in the 80s is not working in 2019.
Anything that we can do to protect the health and safety of our employees is paramount. If we provide good facilities, we provide a better service to our citizens.
Approval of the bond question will also provide funding for police body cameras for all patrol officers and in-car video systems.
It's really becoming a necessary component of law enforcement. I don't think it's so much optional anymore.
The police department sees body cameras as an opportunity to improve training and increase transparency.
By having the body cam video, if that incident occurs outside the purview of the in-car camera, I now have the audio and the visual, and it eliminates, because sometimes we get conflicting statements. People see things through their own perspective, through their own lens of how they felt or how they were acting that day. So now I can see exactly what the officer saw, I can see what the officer said, I can see exactly what the suspect said, and help us give transparency. Then we can release that video if necessary to the public, and they can see exactly what we did. As a good agency, you're always striving to do better and to critique yourself. And we can use that video in our in-service training throughout the year to do it better, critique ourselves, and find out if there's a way we can handle any situation better.
It's also a chance to improve evidentiary outcomes.
It's become a world that's really based upon video. And so you have juries that really look at a case and they're looking for the video. Where's the video from what happened? So we'll be able to provide that on a greater scale, as well as upgrade our in-car video systems, which quite frankly have just become outdated and are starting to fail in certain instances. So we need a nice integrated system that works together with those 2 components.
The police department would receive funding to make renovations at headquarters as part of the bond question, something they say is needed to improve security.
I think security is probably the #1 priority for us, concerns about security. It's a very open and welcoming building, which we like that aspect of it. However, in modern times, unfortunately, we have to consider the fact that we need increased security.
Renovating the space would increase operational efficiencies and provide more gender-based lockers and bathrooms.
We're seeing an increase in women who are considering the profession who never did before, and that's wonderful. But that was something that maybe wasn't accounted for when the building was built as much as we need to account for today. So one of the things that we're looking at doing is expanding their locker room space to give greater access to more female employees.
The final aspect of the bond question relates to network infrastructure. Aging aerial fiber would be replaced with buried fiber from fire headquarters to police headquarters, and Hamlin and Bailey Roads to the maintenance facility.
We've identified the aerial fiber that we have as being at its end of useful life, and we've had problems in the recent months with strands breaking because they're becoming brittle due to age, and the fiber itself is aerial, which leaves it exposed to trees and storm damage. And this effort would bury that fiber so that we could ensure that storm damage and things like that wouldn't impact the ability for the city to conduct its business.
City-owned fiber would also be installed at the Water Services Center, Fire Station 2, Harris Park Community Center, and Longview Community Center to improve bandwidth and resiliency. The no tax increase bond question is for $19,475,000, and it would not raise taxes, but authorizes the city to reissue debt at the current debt levy to address capital needs. For more information on this bond election, visit cityofls.net.